How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a deeper look at a couple of different ways to shoot. Get that sun out of your eyes there. A couple different ways to shoot 800 millimeters. We're going to use Canon and we're going to use Olympus. So right here on the left, I've got the Canon R6 Mark II with the 800 f11 super zoom lens. Not a super expensive lens, but 800 millimeters nonetheless. On the right, I've got my old, that we've done some videos on, my old Olympus OMD EM-1 Mark II from 2016. Probably gonna have to replace the body here one of these days, but I've got the 100 to 400 millimeter Olympus zoom lens on this one. It's version 1. They've come out with a second one since then, so this is the original version. It's weather sealed, it's stabilized, but perhaps not as fancy and not as many features as the Mark II. So Olympus versus Canon. Of course, the Olympus, I said 100 to 400. As you know, Olympus is micro four thirds, so you double everything to get the equivalent focal length in millimeters. So 800 millimeters on the left, 400 micro four thirds on the right should both be around 800 millimeters. So we're going to take a few shots with it and do some comparison and see if one's sharper than the other or how they look. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right, I'm going to start off with the Canon RF 800 f11. Both of these have image stabilization, so that's nice. This is on the R6 Mark II, and there's not a lot of wildlife out here, so I'm going to pick a subject, maybe a bird's nest or a tree branch or something like that. I do hear a bird, but I can't see it. And we'll take a couple of pictures, same subject with both lenses, and kind of contrast and compare. And like I said, leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. I don't see the bird, so I see a nest up here. I'm going to take a picture of it. It'll give you some good contrast. The sun's shining right on it. To keep things even and fair, I'm shooting in shutter priority with a 1/500 shutter speed. All right, now I've got the Olympus EM-1 Mark II and the 100 to 400 f5 to f6.3 ISED MSC, whatever that all is, image stabilized. The rest of that I'm not sure what that means, but it's basically the Mark I of this 100 to 400 Olympus lens. And that same, so I'm going to go to 400 millimeters, which is going to be 800 in full frame terms, and we'll shoot the same bird's nest. It's going to be a tough one. Okay, we're back here at the laptop, looking at these two files. The first one here is from the Olympus camera, the EM-1 Mark II, and then this one is from the Canon R6 Mark II, the 800 millimeter lens. I'll pop them up on the screen kind of side by side so you can look at both at the same time. Okay, the photo on the left is from the R6 Mark II. Photo on the right is from the EM-1 Mark II. On the Canon, we're shooting the 800 millimeter f11, and on the Olympus, we're shooting the 100 to 400 Mark I. Do you see any difference there? They're both pretty decent photos. As I'm looking, though, a little bit closer, it looks like the Canon's a little bit sharper, especially around the actual area of the nest. The tree branch itself looks pretty sharp in both of them, but I'm looking at all the contrasty areas around the nest itself, And I think the Canon has a little bit of an edge with sharpness and clarity. What do you think? And let me zoom them in for you as well so you can get a better look. So first here you've got the R6 II with the 800 zoomed in. Here's the Olympus photo zoomed in. It's a tough call. It really is. I think I got to get a little bit of an edge to the Canon. But size-wise, when you go down to a compact size, you generally give up a little bit of something in place of it. In this case, it may be a little bit of sharpness. Here's the next shot. Again, we're going to keep the Canon on the left for simplicity. Olympus on the right. Your thoughts? This one's difficult for me to call. There's not much in this picture. It's kind of a infinity, landscape type. And short of zooming way in which case neither one of these is going to be very clear. But I might have to call this one a draw. Let me know your thoughts on it. This next set of photos, picture of a railroad signal bridge. Again, if you were to zoom way in, I think you would see that the Canon is a little bit sharper. Generally, like a general sharpness, not like minor details, but like just in general, perhaps. This next set of photos is like a cable guide on top of a utility pole. Again, this one, I could have had my my focus point off a little bit or something, but just in looking at these kind of zoomed in up close, I might have to give this one to the Olympus on the right. Might be a little bit sharper overall. Colors are all very similar from each camera, and they're both reasonably sharp images. I wouldn't hesitate to use either one of them, but I think as I'm looking just at the top of the pole there with the little rough spots, it looks like the Olympus might be a little bit sharper. This next set of photos is another photo of kind of nothing, but it gives you an idea of something to look at here. It's like a branch sticking out of a tree. I won't even say what it looks like. As I'm looking at this one up close as well, again, we got Canon on the left, Olympus on the right. As I was going through this, looking on the camera, I was giving a lot of credit to the Canon. And the Canon is sharp. But I think the Olympus is going to take this one again as well. If you look at the kind of shadows and contrast right on the little stump sticking out, it just looks a little bit sharper, a little bit crisper, I believe. Do you think so? Let me know. Here's another set of photos. This is a picture of the Lisle, Illinois metro train station from a distance. And the Canon, it seems like the Canon camera itself in shutter priority mode might be doing a little bit better with the dynamic range, with the bright light. The Olympus is kind of getting blown out there a little bit in the sky and some of the highlights on the building, but really I was wanting to look at sharpness. And it's hard to tell with that dynamic range issue, but I think I'm going to have to give this one to Canon. It just looks a little bit cleaner and a little bit sharper. And this is the last set of photos I have taken with both lenses. And again, it kind of looks like we've got that light issue or that dynamic range issue. The Canon on the top left is looking cleaner and probably a little bit sharper. But you know what? This micro 4/3 lens is holding its own for sure. It's definitely usable considering all the haze and pollution in the air there. I think Canon probably takes the win here again, but it's so close. If you see something different here, let me know. I know it's probably hard to see on YouTube, especially if you're watching this on a small screen, but if you see something compelling that I'm not pointing out, put it down in the comments. I'm real curious about this because, well, I'll show you why. This setup, this is the difference between full frame and micro 4/3. You can see the 800 millimeter lens on the full frame extends way out beyond the Micro Four Thirds, and they're both extended all the way. And obviously the R6 Mark II is much larger and much, much heavier than the Olympus EM-1 Mark II. And sometimes that makes a difference. If you're carrying a lot of gear or you're carrying it for a long time, carrying those heavy cameras can kind of wear you out. So something to consider. I think you probably give up a little bit of sharpness going to a smaller form factor like that, but you got to weigh the pros and cons, I guess. If you have any thoughts on these two lenses, I just happened to come across the 100 to 400, and I've had the 800 f11 for quite a while, and never was super impressed with that 800 f11, but it seems to be doing okay. You need a lot of light for that f11 aperture. You can't adjust it, obviously. The only thing you can adjust on that lens is the shutter speed and the ISO. So you need to use that in a lot of light. It is definitely not a low light lens, even though the R6 Mark II is kind of a low light camera. So put your thoughts down there, and I'm curious to know what you think. The R6 Mark II with the 800 f11 versus the Olympus EM-1 Mark II with the 100 to 400. All right, folks. Hope that was beneficial to you if you're looking at Canon versus Olympus or looking at some zoom lenses. Probably going to keep both. You have to look at the size of these things. I think the Canon wins probably with sharpness and clarity and all that. But, you know, when you look at the size between the R6 Mark II is about twice as heavy as the EM-1 Mark II, the Olympus. So you give up a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of clarity for the portability of it. And as I get older, that's a lighter camera kit's actually becoming more important to me. So again, hope that was beneficial. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you watching. If you'll hit the like button and subscribe button, we'd appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.